Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. This time out, we are joined by Andy Swanson, Marketing Director for Digital Audio Labs. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Mitch.
Glad to have you here. And you were here this morning with the sales engineers demonstrating LiveMix.
Yes.
So tell us what LiveMix is and give us a little background on Digital Audio Labs.
Okay. Well, LiveMix is a personal monitoring system and it's designed for houses of worship, live sound, recording studios, anywhere where you would need a musician to have a personal mix that's maybe different than a floor wedge or something like that.
Okay.
Digital Audio Labs has been around since 1986, developing sound cards for PCs. In '96, we did it's called the V8. It was a DAW that
I remember,
competed with Pro Tools at the time. And then we've been doing some OEM work and doing stuff in the background. And we have a lot of technology. Some of our expertise is in amplification, digital signal processing, and mixing.
Okay.
And we kind of saw a need for implementing all those things into a personal monitoring system.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. So what sets this apart from the other personal monitoring systems that are out there?
One of the key design goals was to be volunteer friendly. You know, you've got a house of worship and you've got a singer who maybe sings one time a month, and we say, here's a bunch of channels for you to mix, you know.
Right.
We want it to be volunteer friendly. And so they could come in and just feel at ease. So there's features that really hit that mark. Things like a touch screen, and every channel can be, you know, touched with a touch screen. We've got a me knob so that you can set your me group and always have access to more of me. Of course, that's important in any live
Instant access,
arena, right?
Yeah.
We've got accessory channels where you've got auxiliary input for your iPhone so everyone can hear maybe a song that's being played or you want to work on. Stereo ambient mics built in, intercom system. So everything is really designed, especially if you look here at this channel overview, you'll be able to see that the channels are named. And so I'm mixing lead vocal, or maybe it's Mitch, you know, or here's Andy, and the person says, you know, I really want less of Andy. So I'm mixing that instead of 4, 5. Who was on 4, who was on 6?
And you don't have to put a piece of tape across the bottom.
Exactly. So it really helps those front of house engineers be able to get things started right away. Cuts down on your practice time, you know, because you've got things ready as soon as you walk in. And really, on these screens, this channel overview with these buttons, 95% of your mixing can be done there. But we have a lot of professional features as well. 24 channels, EQ and compression on every channel, EQ, compression, reverb, limiting on the master output. So we've got some real deep professional features as well that allow you to, geeks like us, to really get in there and make some good mixing.
So you made it very simple to operate on the surface, and very fast when you're in the heat of the moment and you're playing and you just need more yourself. But if you want to dig in there, lots there.
You can really dig in and lots going on there.
Right. Now you mentioned 24 channels. I know a lot of the other systems don't have that many channels, right?
Yeah, typically you've got about 16 channels, and we do 24 channels. EQ and compression on every channel is a big deal for me as a bass player. You know, I always had trouble hearing that kick, just really getting that to kick through, because let's face it, everyone else can go down. I just want the kick, you know, as a bass player. So, you know, being able to have EQ and compression on that really brings that up and allows me to really hear myself. Because when you hear yourself and you hear well, you're going to play better.
Right. Now, how many of these can you chain together? Is there a limit on that?
Yeah, actually, a major feature I just totally skipped over is that there's 2 mixes per box. So you've got an A side and a B side, and they're color coded, so you always know which one is in control.
Okay.
And so 2 performers can share a box. You've got 2 outputs. Everything is just mirrored. There's 2 totally separate systems. So in a typical setup, we've got a Mix 16, which is kind of the brain unit, and that'll support 8 of these boxes, which is a total of 16 mixes.
Okay.
So that's your 16 total mixes in the system.
And is that a rack mount box, or how does that
It is. It's a rack mount box, and then we've got, you can come in analog. We've got a box, another rack mount box that'll take your analog inputs with TRS or DB25.
Okay.
Then we've also have a digital setup. You can come with Dante Digital, and you can actually set it up on this control surface, so it's just super easy. You can import the first 1 through 24 channels on your Dante device and lickety-split. You're ready to go.
Nice. Now you've got it set up here with a set of headphones, but you mentioned you can also run this with wedges or whatever kind of system.
Absolutely. So we've got some options here on the master. I can set it up for the stereo headphones or to a balanced mono. So you can run it to floor wedges as well.
Okay.
Now, one of the other really cool features is mirror mix. And what mirror mix allows me to do is from any control surface go into any other mix and actually hear what they're hearing and make adjustments. So again, going back to volunteer friendly, you have somebody who's like, I just can't figure this out. I'm done, you know, and of course that person's not going to perform their best because they're frustrated. So I can go in with mirror mix and I can actually connect into their box, hear what they're hearing, Yes, you're right. That is pretty awful. Right. But I can load a mix from my box to theirs, or I have a USB stick. If I've got a saved mix on the USB stick, I can load it to their box, get it set up, say, all right, here's your me. I'll set up your me group. This is you. All you've got to worry about now is your me knob.
Okay.
And you're set to go.
Right.
So it's another way of being volunteer friendly, even though it's a professional feature, but it's volunteer friendly because it helps those people hear what they need to hear.
Right, right. Now you've mentioned the me group several times. I think a lot of these systems you have the me knob where it's just your vocal.
Yes.
Or your instrument or whatever. But here you can actually chain together multiple.
Exactly.
So if you're a guitar player, acoustic guitar, and you're singing, you can have both of those on this knob.
Exactly right. Yeah. So here we've got it set up for the lead vocal and electric guitar. But let's say you could do that easily. You're doing the rhythm guitar, and I got that set up, so that's me. Now one of the great things also is, let's say you've got this guitar that you want to adjust irrespective of the group. You can bring it out of the group and drop it right back in, and so you've made a change to one of the channels in a group very quick.
Nice,
yeah.
Nice. Now you've mentioned this for most of what we've been talking about with volunteers and things would clearly be house of worship applications. Yeah. We talked about floor wedges. Is this also applicable for the recording studio?
It's absolutely, especially with Dante. You know, you can send your channels Dante out into this device if you're running RedNet or one of those things, or even actually out of your PC. Now you run Dante. Musicians get their own mix. They're hearing what they want to hear. You know, they don't have to. The engineer doesn't sit there have to do a cue mix for every individual person. So it works fantastic there. Live use as well, not just house of worship, but other touring musicians. You might use something like this. You never know what kind of situation you're going to walk into. You know, but if you get with the analog box, you can just tap into their system, have all your mixes, and you know you're going to get a good mix regardless of the venue.
Right, so great for in-ears then too.
It's fantastic for in-ears. And it's going to be hard to articulate here because you're not going to be able to hear it as well, but man, this headphone amplifier.
Sounds good.
Yeah, with some great in-ears, you know, I mean, you start to recognize that earbuds are not appropriate really fast, but headphones, and it'll drive, you know, 300 ohm headphones as well, so it's fantastic.
Nice. It sounds like you guys have thought of everything.
I think we have.
And made it really easy to use. Yeah. I mean, just watching you work the screen here, I feel like I could sit down and just take over.
And it's simple to set up as well. You know, if you're running Dante, it's a cable in, and then there's the Cat 6, Cat 5 cable to each box. Ready to go.
Easier than that.
And you can load a total template, right? So if you've got two bands, one week, second band the next week, just load it up. All the channels are there, all the names are there, week to week. It's, like you said, it can't be simpler.
Yeah, nice, nice. Andy, thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks,
This
Mitch.
is really awesome, really
appreciate
exciting technology. I want to add it to my studio.
You know what? That is the challenge with working with technology companies, isn't it?
Yeah, you always want the new cool thing.
That's right.
No, that's great. Thanks so much for coming here.
Thanks, Mitch.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Good to see you. I'm Mitch Gallagher. Thanks for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute.